Back for more scrapbook. So I'm in the middle of an article about September 11th attack. Um, it's titled "Bin Laden Focus of Intelligence Probe." So I'm in the middle of this article here. Okay. Hatch, Orrin Hatch, also said law enforcement has data possibly linking one person on one of the four ill-fated flights to bin Laden's organization. Government and industry officials said at least one flight attendant and two passengers called from three of the planes as they were being forced down in New York and Washington, each describing similar circumstances. The callers indicated hijackers armed with knives, in some cases stabbing flight attendants. Ugh. Took control of the plane and were forcing them down toward the ground, officials said. One of the passengers was Barbara Olson, the wife of Solicitor General Theodore Olson. She was aboard American Airlines Flight 77 that left Dulles International Airport in Washington and was forced to crash into the Pentagon. The official said Olson told her husband the attackers had used knife-like instruments to take over the plane and forced passengers to the back of the jet. Separately, a businessman aboard a United flight that left Boston and crashed into the World Trade Center twice called his father as his plane was being hijacked, a law enforcement official told the Associated Press. The official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the victim's father was interviewed by the FBI. The father indicated his son made two calls. Both times the phone cut off. In the first call, the businessman said a stewardess had been stabbed. In the second call, the son said his plane was going down. A flight attendant aboard the second jetliner that struck the World Trade Center managed to call an emergency number from the back of the airplane, an American Airlines source said. The government unleashed legions of intelligence and law enforcement experts to begin identifying those who planned and carried out the attacks. Security analysts said the crash site in Pennsylvania could be a source of quick clues if the plane's black box can be located. Some of the first clues will come from the plane, said Eugene Poteet, a retired CIA intelligence officer. The black box, which captures instrument readings and recordings from the flight deck, might have captured voices of those who crashed the plane. It was like a war zone. Yeah, I can imagine. In a horrific sequence of crashes and collapses, the 110-story towers of the World Trade Center, 110-story, The 110-story towers of the World Trade Center were obliterated early Tuesday, the epicenter of a coordinated terrorist attack that included another direct hit on the Pentagon and a crashed jet in Pennsylvania. A low-tech plan. Two flights leaving Boston for Los Angeles 15 minutes apart. American Airlines Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175, carrying a total of 157 people, were hijacked. So there's the number there. 157 people. At 7:45 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the face of the North Tower of the World Trade Center at about 20 stories below the top of the building. It's just horrible thinking about it. What it must have been like inside the plane as it's going toward the building moments before it crashes. Just horrible to think about that, the perspective, uh, the view going into the building. Or like the view from you're in the building and you're witnessing that, looking out the window and you're seeing, holy shit, there's a plane coming right at us. At 8:03 a.m., the second hijacked jet, United Airlines Flight 175, streaked into the South Tower, sending a fireball out the other side. Wow. Damaged, then destroyed. As people evacuated the area. Okay. So there was some evacuating. Emergency As people evacuated the area, emergency crews mobilized and authorities pushed pedestrians out of the surrounding blocks. But the casualties and damage of the initial crashes multiplied horribly when the crippled towers toppled. Yeah. Severely weakened by the impacts, the towers probably fell, say experts, in skyscraper construction when intense heat from the ensuing fires melted crucial steel supports. At 8:50 a.m., the South Tower, the second tower hit, collapsed as floors caved onto one another. The fire spread to adjacent buildings, including the 47-story 7 World Trade Center. Then at 9:29 a.m., the North Tower collapsed just before nightfall. The evacuated 7 Oh, okay, that one was evacuated. The evacuated 7 World Trade Center collapsed. Okay, sealing off the scene. As emergency crews rushed to lower Manhattan, authorities sealed off the island, stranding a population in disbelief. Okay, so it's just there's a map here. New York. Different things on the map. Closed bridge or tunnel. There's New Jersey. Okay, Tappan Zee Bridge, George Washington Bridge, Triborough Bridge, Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel. There's Newark Airport, Bronx, Whitestone Bridge, Throgs Neck Bridge, LaGuardia Airport, Queensboro Bridge, Queens Midtown Tunnel, Williamsburg Bridge, Manhattan Bridge, Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, Verrazano Narrows Bridge, John F. Kennedy International Airport. So those are all the things on this map here. Here's a quote by a police officer. New York is crying. It's like nighttime there. I didn't hear any screaming, just dead. Dark silence. Dark. Frightening. All right, here's a couple more photos. A jet airliner approaches one of the World Trade Center towers moments before crashing into it Tuesday in New York. It's amazing to think that, like, what were what were these people doing that got the footage, the photos? How is it they were able to get such good photography of the situation? I don't know. I suppose there's a lot of tourists in big cities and film crews for like making movies and such. Uh, the South Tower of the World Trade Center left begins to collapse after crash. Wow. Travelers forced to rebook flights. I guess I can skip that article. New York is crying. Um, Police arrest 1970. Ah, yeah, okay, 70s. Police arrest 1971 hijacking suspect. 1971. I'm gonna stop.